Hello, welcome to Stagehand, the show where we talk about things I learned while being a stagehand, except today I am just gonna talk about, I guess, just a little bit about myself, how I got to where I am, and what I'm doing, and everything, I guess. Partially doing this because there are a ton of new people here, and I'm also doing this because I am graduating college in 2 weeks from when I am recording this video, and it's just, kind of looking back and how I got from there to what point I'm at right now and where I want to go. And also, if you want like a more in-depth look at my life in the arts, I have a spreadsheet that I made one random morning at 4 a.m. It's linked in my bio, so if you really want to take a look at that and just see every little thing I've done, that you can look there. This is all going to be very blunt, very honest, very fast, so buckle up.
It all started September 3rd, 2002 at 6:03 a.m. in Elgin, Illinois.
It's when I was born, but I'm gonna skip ahead. I moved to Green Bay, Wisconsin when I was 5, and I've based myself here ever since. Very first show I ever saw was Junie B. Jones in either 2009, 2010, one of those years, at the Widener Center. And then when I was 8, I saw a production of The Wizard of Oz at St. Norbert College, performed by the dance company in 2010, I think. And I was like, yep, this is what I want to do. And then for the rest of elementary school, my mom would take me to the Fox Cities Performing Arts Center, where I would get to see all these Broadway touring shows, which I thought was just amazing. And in 3rd grade, I started taking dance classes, and I realized I wanted nothing to do with dance. I hated dance. And I did my first show summer before 5th grade. It was The Wizard of Oz. Did my second show during 5th grade, also The Wizard of Oz. I was a munchkin in both. It was great. And when I was in 5th grade, I discovered what this thing called Broadway was through the musical Wicked, which I actually saw when it was on tour during 5th grade as well. So Wizard of Oz, weird imprint on my life. Anyway, middle school hits, and I'm like, I'm gonna be an actor. I'm gonna be a Broadway actor. That's what I'm gonna do. So I did all the shows at my school, and in 7th grade, I was like, you know what? I'm a dancer. So I started taking classes at Shirley Vance Dance Studio, and then I eventually joined the dance company, which also was the company that did The Wizard of Oz back when I was in 2nd grade. So it was like one of those like full circle moments. It was really cool. And then high school rolls along, and this is where things start to get chaotic. I was someone who said yes to everything. So whenever someone gave me the opportunity, I was always like, yes, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I did everything. It was crazy. So summer before high school, I did the summer musical Sister Act, and then fall 1 act, I didn't make it in, so I was in the crew, which I really just brought a prop on stage and off stage, so I don't really count it as crew anyway. Spring play rolls around my freshman year. We're doing The Great Gatsby. They want to have a choreographer. I'm like, hey, I have dance experience. I know I'm like 15, barely 15, but I got this. I got this. And this is where I really started to realize that I had a really professional mindset, even though I was like 15. I just really, like, I don't know why. I wanted things to be at the like highest level that they could be, which it's a little bit weird when you're in high school. Mentally, I started to feel like I didn't entirely fit in with the theater environment that I was surrounded by. So I choreographed that show, and then we get to our summer musical, which is a production of Grease. And to be honest, this is a really touchy production for me. Yeah. I was still 15, I was in the ensemble, but I was also the dance captain and a choreographer for one of the dances in the show. And then I got virtually every role taken away from me. Basically, I was given a song that I didn't really feel like I was capable of choreographing. I struggled to come up with any kind of dance move for it. But if you're a choreographer, your job is to choreograph. So if I can't do something, I shouldn't have the position. So that kind of made sense. It like completely broke me though, as like a 15-year-old doing theater. And then from my perspective, it got a little too excessive in some ways. I had a couple one-on-one meetings with the director of my program. There was one time where I was just like, hey, what can I do to be a better actor on stage? What can I do to just be better and just do better in this program? And in one of those meetings, she basically flat out told me that I just didn't know how to be funny on a stage, and I didn't know how to be anything but depressed. And in my heart, I knew that wasn't true because my dance teachers would say the opposite, but it's still, coming from a director, it hurt a lot. And it's hard to fully remember that conversation now, but really what I remember taking away was just like, you can't act. It hurt. And every single year we would get these audition packets for the next show, and on there would be like a what determines your role kind of section. And I would read these, and every show from then on, it felt like I was being singled out more and more and more. And then after that show is the first show they started cutting people. They only cut 3 people, and I was one of them. But I kept auditioning and auditioning, and then I started to realize that I was the only one getting cut from every single show. Like, everyone else made it in at some point. And there were certain times where I would talk to people in my school, and they would just look at me and say, you know what? Theater isn't for everyone. And sometimes when you're in high school, it feels like high school theater is like the only theater in the world. So I was like, you know what? I guess I'm done. I guess I'm done with theater. I guess I can't do this anymore. It didn't feel right though, especially the whole theater isn't for everyone thing. Thankfully, my sophomore year of high school, I discovered this thing called community theater. And the next summer I auditioned for a production at St. Norbert College called Newsies. There were like 100 people auditioning for the show. I got a call back. I was super happy about that. Ultimately didn't make it in though. And it hurt a little bit, but they were like, hey, if you want to do tech crew, you can totally do that. And I loved learning everything. I wanted to do everything. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. They were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, what do you need? And they were like, we need a flyman and we need an A2 for the second show. And I was like, perfect. I guess I'm a flyman and an A2 and a scene shop carpenter. Throw me right in. So I was 16 working in a pretty semi-professional environment at St. Norbert College doing Singing in the Rain, which was Still to date, one of my favorite shows I've ever done, and also running the fly system. Also ironic too, because they made me head fly of that show, and one of the fly guys I was working with got injured, so the person who taught me how to use the fly system stepped in and I had to tell him what to do, which was really weird. And with the program I came from, in the summer we'd have to go in every single day, so I just started going to the shop every single day because, you know, I was just very much so used to it. So the tech director really started to notice me. He was like, wow, she's a really dedicated person. She comes in here every single day. It was just a misunderstanding because I thought I had to be there every single day, but apparently I didn't, and I guess it was just a happy accident. And after that summer, I realized how much I really loved community theater, so I started going to like every single show in the area. I started doing like every kind of production I could be a part of, to the point where I did 11 shows my senior year of high school, and by the time I graduated, I had seen 150 productions in my time in high school. And I was still so angered by the phrase, theater isn't for everyone. Because I believed if anybody wanted to do it, there's always a place for somebody. And a lot of the times people just aren't aware of these places, like me when I was 15. So I created a website my junior year of high school that basically listed every single show in the area, every single audition opportunity I could find, every single just volunteer opportunity, workshop opportunity. I did extensive research just to make sure everybody else knew what opportunities there were out there in the area. And I also started to write reviews of all the shows that I was seeing. I worked on this throughout my senior year of high school as well, got a group of about 10 people. We were kind of at a point where we were like, all right, let's try to make this a nonprofit organization. And then things hit a wall. It was a lot of work. I was going into college. I wasn't getting paid, and I felt like I was just giving up too much for the situation that I was in. I just couldn't afford to live as an 18-year-old, and even though there were hundreds of people in the area following along with it, I was paying for everything out of pocket, and it just was too much for me. And it just kind of faded away from there. Who's to say what'll happen in the future, though? So I graduated high school in 2021, and I start college at St. Norbert College. It wasn't my first option, but it wasn't my last, and I was actually happy to kind of go into an environment where I already knew a lot of people. October was around my freshman year, and I'm in a work meeting at the theater building on our campus when my boss gives me an opportunity that forever changes my life. He basically says, hey, the National Tour of Wicked is coming through. They have a loadout coming up and they're super short-handed because of COVID regulations, but if you're able to, you should totally work this gig. And like now it's like something I like shrug off, but like in the moment it was like, holy shit, like this is life-changing. Like this is the shit I wanted to do since 5th grade, and now I'm finally able to do it even though I'm barely 19. So I show up, I do the loadout for Wicked, and I hate it. I want nothing to do with it. But I already said yes to TSO after that one, so I go to that one. And guess what? I hated that one too. I think it took me a solid 6 months to actually fully fall in love with what I was doing. Union stagehand work is a lot to jump into, and for me, it just took me a hot minute to really kind of process everything because there's so much going on, so much shouting. And then, you know, after a while, you really get attached to it. And then I hit a point where I was like, this is what I want to do, which made college super difficult. I wanted to drop out almost every single semester. It was awful. Thankfully, with the amount of college credits I came in with and just summer classes and stuff, I was able to bring my degree down to 2.5 years. So on December 13th, I will officially have my bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary arts. And then what? I don't know. I really don't know, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Big goal for me is to work on tour eventually, though. So that's my long brief history in theater. If you made it to the end, congrats. All right, stay spicy, y'all.